Hello, Shadowburst Labradoodle puppy families and everyone who loves Labradoodle puppies and who doesn't. This is your week 2 litter update for these petite Australian Labradoodle puppies. And in today's video, we're going to give you an update on Mama Raven. We will, of course, give you an update on each of the puppies. And we're going to check and see if that next milestone has been reached, which is opened eyes. And we're also going to talk today about the important partnerships in your puppy's life. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and you can see that the 5 puppies from our Shadowburst litter here are enjoying a late breakfast at the milk bar. Raven is doing beautifully. Her appetite is really strong. She is now eating approximately 4 times, actually a bit more than 4 times what she normally eats. She's eating 4 times a day, and each of those meals is about double what she normally would eat in a meal. So that's quite a lot of extra food and calories, and you can see it's all going to a very good use here as the puppies are all doing really well. One of the nice things you can see at the milk bar here is everybody has a spot. Initially, I'll call you Anise. Raven. Anise and Raven look so much alike. Raven only had 4 spots that were really working well for the puppies, but because they are all hungry and they all like to be able to eat at the same time, they've worked away at this one that blue collar boy is on and managed to get it flowing as well. So the prime spots are here at the back, and the less valuable, if you will, spots are here at the front. So it's worked out really quite well naturally in that Orange is the smallest puppy in the litter, and she is at the very back getting the biggest amount of nutrition. And here you see Red Collar Boy. He is near the front, and he is, I believe, still the biggest puppy in the litter. Yes, he is. And he is already out. So he has one of the smaller glands there, which doesn't hold as much milk. But that's totally fine because, as you can see, he's big and strong, and so it's okay for him to be up near the front this time. Now, the puppies don't always fall into the same position. Often you'll have a puppy who has a favorite spot, and they will try really hard to find that same spot each time. And other times you have puppies who just take whatever is available. So sometimes it's dependent on who gets there first, and sometimes it's dependent on who's the biggest, really. You can see Silver Collar, who's the second biggest puppy in the litter. His location now has run dry, and he's nosing around trying to find a spot on the other side. Right? And Mama Raven just takes it all in stride. She's just, yeah, it's all right. I know they'll figure it out. That part's not my job. But Raven is doing her job beautifully. This is probably the easiest and best mama dog we've ever had, in that she is quiet. Her puppies are quiet. We never hear anything from anyone. Everybody's happy. And even when Raven needs to go out, she doesn't make a fuss. She just quietly waits until we come and let her out. And when we let her out, she's so cute. She bounces about 3 feet up in the air. She's like, oh, yay, we get to go outside. You're here to see me. She races outside. We have our new fountainscape there, and she roars over, gets a quick little drink from the dog beach area, and then whoosh, she's out the door, and she runs around and sniffs everything. She loves it if the quail are still in the hedges and she can put them all up, and she just thinks that's the greatest thing in the world. And mostly what she enjoys is just having all the cuddle time and just getting a little break from her puppies. Now you can see all the puppies are kind of moving around in a vast panic because things have emptied out, except for Orange Collar Girl, who, as I said, is on the biggest mammary gland back there, and even she is starting to really pull now to try and get some flow. So this weekend we had our reunion for all of our puppy families. We had over 100 people come, and over 65 of our dogs came. It was a wonderful day. The weather was perfect. And while we were doing that, Raven's guardian mom, Marion, came and spent the whole time up here with Raven and the puppies, and she also was really helpful and looked after the other 2 litters as well to make sure everybody was happy and there were no problems. So Raven just thought that was fantastic. And then Marion decided she would stay the night with us, so we enjoyed dinner together and breakfast the next morning, of course. And Raven was just in her glory because that meant her 2 human moms, Marion and myself, were here, and also her dog mom, Dottie, was here. So she had all her moms with her, and she was very excited to show off her puppies. Now, at the same time, we had another guardian mom here. Joya's mom, Elise, was here visiting Joya. And when she got near where Raven's puppies were, oh, well, we saw a different side of Raven. Raven was extraordinarily protective. She was like, do not come near my babies. So that was quite a surprise to us because we do have people coming in and out, not very regularly, but we do have a couple of people. Taylor, of course, comes. Taylor is allowed to come in and see the puppies without any problem. And my son is here and one of our grandsons, and they are all approved. But when Elise was here, she got the cold shoulder from Raven. So that's how our little mama Raven's doing. Now I want to talk a little bit about important partnerships for you and your puppy. These are really key people in your puppy's life. So first of all, you have us as your breeder. Then the other 3 key people are going to be your vet, your groomer, and your trainer. Now for choosing a vet, you don't have quite as much liberty and choice as you used to because we have an extreme shortage of vets and vet personnel that assist them, vet techs, at the moment in British Columbia and actually everywhere in Canada. So this makes it a little bit trickier. So I really urge all of the families, if you do not already have a vet in place, please start looking for one right away. You may not get the first choice for a vet at the moment, so make sure you get the vet that you prefer and go on to a wait list. Now, if you're not sure who might or might not be a good vet, one of the best things you can do is post on our private family community page, say I live in and I'm looking for a vet, and let our families recommend a good vet to you. They're the ones who have a Van Isle Labradoodle, and they're the ones who can give you the best information for that sort of thing. Now, what you want to do when you're looking for a vet, though, is a few key things. And in your educational video this week, we'll go through those steps for you. The things you won't be able to do anymore that I mentioned in that video, because that video was shot a few years ago, pre-COVID actually, is you won't be able to set up an appointment to interview the vet any longer. They're just too busy. But you want to find one who aligns with your basic principles. You want to find out what the hours are. You always want to know where the closest emergency veterinary clinic is so that you know where to go for some after-hour care if that need ever should arise. So for us, we live in Cowichan Valley. We're in the middle between Nanaimo and Victoria, so we can either go to the emergency clinic in Nanaimo, or there are 2 in Victoria we can go to. Waves is the clinic we prefer the most. They are newer, they have more expertise, more facilities, and more equipment to handle more things. They're also the most expensive. However, that expense is justified by the level of care that you get at Waves. And they're located in Langford. So we have that luxury of being able to go this way or that way, but it does take us an hour to get to any of the emergency clinics. So find out, does your clinic have maybe an urgent care where you can walk into if you have a problem with your dog? There's a great clinic in Nanaimo called Mahalo. They are open till 9 p.m. Monday to Friday, and they do have an urgent care, which I'm not sure how late it's open to, and you don't have to actually be a client. You can just walk in if you have a problem. So great clinic there. there. I've heard good reports from them. I haven't been there myself, but I have heard good things. So that's the most important key person to start looking for right away if you don't already have a vet in place. The next person on your list that's important is a trainer. Now, for all of you who live on Vancouver Island and who have signed up for Head Start, your puppy will be working with Reynolds and I primarily in Head Start, and then Taylor will also be working with your puppy when she is here. Now, Taylor is a certified puppy trainer, so that's a real bonus for the Head Start program and everybody who's in it, because your puppy will have that certified puppy trainer working with them right from the time we start Head Start. Taylor does do classes and she does do individual appointments throughout the island. She does travel from Campbell River to Sydney. So you can make those arrangements with her. When you see her at the family visit day, you can talk to her about any special arrangements you would like to make after you take your puppy home. She may be running a puppy socialization class, which you can sign up for, and also any individual training you would like to do. And Taylor also does some board and train if you would like to leave your puppy with her for any additional training. So that's the Taylor. And now if Taylor's not going to be the trainer that you use because you don't live here or it doesn't happen to be convenient, then there are many other really excellent trainers throughout Vancouver Island. And the one that we recommend the most is Communicanine, and they're located in Brentwood Bay. Well worth the drive. They're absolutely excellent. Many of our puppies have gone to their Puppy Superstar classes and then to the Mind Your Manners classes. I can't recommend them highly enough. Very good program. They're very familiar with Isle Doodles, having seen so many of them. And again, this is another thing to post on the community page about, say, I live in, and ask people for training recommendations. If you're in the Lower Mainland, I do have a coupon I can give you for an excellent training class that is in Vancouver. Just email me and I will give you that coupon code and give you the information. But again, post on the community page and ask for info for that. And then the third person is the groomer. Now you may think a groomer, well, how important is that? Australian Labradoodles do require maintenance on their coats. Their coats grow, their coats get matted. They can get ear infections because they have these floppy ears, so it's really important that we have really good ear hygiene going on, and that's done by a groomer. These dogs need to have their coats professionally groomed every 6 to 8 weeks. 8 weeks is good as long as you are really diligent about maintaining their coat at home. And by diligent, I mean you brush them and comb them completely, nose to tail, every other day. This is essential if you're only going to have them groomed every 8 weeks. Now, I don't have time to do that with my dogs. We have three dogs who live with us, and then we usually have about 5 other dogs staying with us. So we usually have 8 dogs here at a time, and I just simply don't have time to look after puppies, 8 adult dogs, and everything else that goes on with raising puppies. So I manage that by having my dogs professionally groomed once every 4 weeks. Yes, it costs me a bit more money. A full groom is around $120. That's about what you're going to be looking at. However, for me, that is what works because I just simply don't have the time. So when you're looking for a groomer, what you want to do is go to the groomer shop, take a look around. Is it clean and tidy? Of course, there's going to be dog hair. They are cutting dogs' hair. So you do expect to see dog hair everywhere. You want to have a groomer that has at least a window or something that allows you to see where the dogs are so you can look in and see what's going on. You want to see professional equipment. You want to see things clean, organized, and professionally run. You also want to find out what their hours are. If you want to take your dog for grooming appointments on Saturday, for example, you want to make sure you have a groomer who's open on Saturdays. So that's something to check as well. Now, some people talk about going to groomers where their dogs run free and they're not put into crates in between being bathed and clipped and picked up. Personally, I'm not a fan of that plan. I don't like the idea that my dog is not going to feel safe and secure. I don't like the idea that my dog is roaming around somewhere with other dogs. If you have a groomer and it's just your dog who's there, they only do one dog at a time, okay, that's totally fine. However, if it's a groomer that's got more than one groomer, or they're busy and they have more than one dog being done, I personally prefer that my dog is crated. My 3 dogs go together. My dogs are all crate trained, as your puppy will be, especially if they're in Head Start. And so they love their crate. That's where they feel safe and secure. The grooming parlor is never somewhere that dogs go, oh yay, I'm so happy I'm here, because no dog likes to have a bath. But you want the dog not to be like, oh, I don't want to be here. You want them to go in somewhat neutral to sort of, do I really have to? So when they're in the crate, that crate gives them that security. So this is one of the reasons why we do crate training, is to provide dogs with a place to be secure when they're not at home in their normal environment. Same holds true if they have to go to the vet, where they, particularly are not used to the circumstances, and if they're staying there, it's because they don't feel well. So if they're not comfortable being in a crate, which is where they all be in a vet, then that just adds to the aggravation and stress of the whole process. So crate training is really important. But anyways, you can find whichever you prefer there. Here's Raven again giving me hugs. Raven is a very huggy and affectionate girl, and I love you too. But basically you want them to be professional, and ask them for their book. Ask to see pictures of other Australian Labradoodles that they've clipped, and make sure that it looks like you want your dog to look like. You will get a grooming guide that goes home with you that shows you what the Australian Labradoodle clip looks like, and you can see what Raven looks like here, and this is a proper Australian Labradoodle clip. She is in what we call a puppy clip. Yes, she's cut up short because she has her babies. But I tell you, if ever somebody's phoning me crying, it's almost always because they've come back from the groomer and the groomer has poodled their doodle and they just look terrible. Or they're completely naked because they didn't maintain their coat in between appointments. The dog got too matted and had to have their coat removed. And one thing you might not know is when a dog has mats, it hurts. It's not just like, oh, their hair's a mess. It hurts them. So it's really important that you do provide your dog with good, consistent, proper hygiene and care, which includes grooming them regularly. So those are your 3 key people. Like I said, you will get a video with more information about this and helping you make these choices. These are all things you want to start checking out and having available. I would suggest making your vet appointment for shots for your puppy right away. I would also suggest booking in a grooming appointment right away for your puppy. And that appointment should be about 8 weeks after you take your puppy home. In the meantime, you can take your puppy there just to get used to it. No feet on the ground. You want to be holding them. You don't know who's been there. So now the puppies, what have they been up to this week? Well, they're still mostly eating, sleeping, and repeating. They are starting to move around a little bit, but they're still pretty wobbly on their feet, which is totally normal and where we expect them to be at week 2. This week they'll be wormed. All puppies have worms because mums, all female dogs, have a worm that's dormant until they become pregnant. And then when they're pregnant, that worm becomes active. And then, of course, that's in mom's body, so it goes into the puppy's bodies. So we worm them at week 2, 4, and 6 with a very gentle product. You could overdose them by 5 times and they'd still be okay. And then we give them one final worming before they go home to you with a different product. And that's to make sure we cover all the bases. It's just like when anything you do for your health, you don't want to rely on the same product, like your COVID vaccines. You don't want to always have Moderna, you want to have Pfizer and alternate them so that you get the most efficacy out of the vaccine. Similarly with the worming products. We don't want to use anything harsh, and we don't want to use anything too overly robust when they're so little at 2 weeks of age, but we want to have something that's effective. And then once we get to the point where they're just about 8 weeks old, then we want to use something that is a little bit more robust because their immune system is more active and able to manage it. And just be sure that we have all those worms taken care of before they go home to you. Even if they did have them, they aren't going to hurt you at all. Obviously, we don't have anything happening to us, and we're around the puppies all the time. So you can see they've grown, clearly. You can see they have gleaming coats. And now we're going to see if anybody has opened their eyes yet. And if you're wondering, why are their ears and eyes sealed shut? It's because neurologically they are not able to cope with that level of stimulus. So nature has made it so that they aren't bothered by any sights and sounds until they're ready for that. So their bodies have to be ready. It won't have anything to do whether it's the smallest or the largest puppy. It's just simply what their individual timetable is. It doesn't mean one puppy is better than the other. It doesn't mean they're slow or they're fast or anything like that. It just happens to be how they develop. So the normal time for opening eyes is anywhere between usually around day 10, it will be the earliest that you would see, and the latest can actually be all the way up to day 21. If we have puppies whose eyes aren't open by day 18, we will generally go to the vet and see. First of all, we want to make sure that they're not open, that there's no medical reason why they haven't opened, that there's no issue with their eyes. We've only had to do this once, and the puppy, all that it was the eyelid was a little bit crusty, and so it just had to be pried open, which I figured, but I didn't want to do that myself just in case. And then we just had to clean the eye a couple of times because that puppy had a bit of a weepy eye. It didn't end up being anything that bothered the puppy as the puppy grew up and matured. That puppy has never had any eye issues since. And of course can see perfectly well. So don't be alarmed if eyes are not open, and don't be surprised if they are all open. And so now let's find out who does or doesn't have open eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our handy dandy little app here to get their weights. And of course, we're going to go in birth order, and we're going to start here with Blue Collar Boy. And as always, we're just going to let him know that we're here. And I'm also going to tell Silver that I'm here because I'm just going to take Silver and place him over with his friends because I need to get Blue, and that would otherwise disturb him. So here's our little Blue. Blue is one of these gleaming ebony phantoms with lots of white on him as well. And Mr. Blue has tiny slits in his eyes, but they are not open all the way. I would say that tomorrow morning these eyes are going to be open all the ways. And he certainly is a very relaxed puppy. He doesn't care that I just picked him up. He doesn't care that Mom's licking him. He says, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm a happy guy. You can see a few movements there on the top of his head, and I know pretty soon, I bet you maybe even tonight, these eyes might be open. Mr. Blue Collar is 681 grams. He's a very good boy. And in total, since he was born, he has grown 268%. So he's doing just fabulously. There we go, Mr. Blue. I put you back with your friends. And of course, I'm always talking to them, but their ears are not open yet. Next, we have the big Hulk here in the litter, Mr. Red Collar. Oh, he's going to give you a great display of all of the white on his tummy as he does a little bit of a roll job. Hi, buddy. And there he is. This is our flashy puppy. And Mr. Flash, who is the biggest in the whole litter, is 813 grams, and his eyes are not open. So there's a really good indication for you that he's the biggest, but that does not mean that he's going to do things more quickly. Indeed, his eyes are still quite closed. I expect his eyes will open after blue collars do. And Mr. Red has grown 275% since he was born. So that's an interesting little comparison there, because he's actually not grown as much as blue collar has. Nope, he has grown more than blue collar has, 275 to 268. So sometimes all of these things are very relative. There we go, red. Next we have pink collar girl. And pink collar girl is here under Mr. Blue. So I'm just going to move Mr. Blue. Hey, baby girl. I'll just let her know that I'm here. Everybody's so tired because we just had a big feed and our tummies are all full. You can see with this little girl how nice and round those tummies are. These are really nice juicy puppies. Oh yes. And pink collar's nose is filling in there. You can start to see the black coming in. And she too, she is the same as red collar in terms of her eyes. They're still pretty much sealed shut. I don't expect that they're going to open anytime soon. Maybe towards the end of the day tomorrow, you might see them opening. With puppies at this age, things can happen in hours. Like they can go from, their eyes are sealed shut in the morning to when you're putting them to bed at night going, oh, look, they're almost open. Pink collar girl is now 690 grams, and she has grown 218% since she was born. Hey, baby girl. Go. Now I'm going to put her right on top of her brother Red there. Red makes a good pillow for quite a few puppies because he's bigger than everyone else. Hi. Now we're going to take a look at silver collar boy. Silver collar, yes, thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. I know I love you too. You are just the best girl. Silver collar boy is going to show you. Yay, look, my eyes are open. He actually, yes, I know, honey. He actually opened his eyes yesterday. Here, see, now you got him all upset because I had to take my hand away to look at you. He knows mom's there and he says, I want to go to mom. I want to go to mom. I got to let him go down to mom there. See that there's nothing that's going on. And then let's see if we can see those eyes again, or is he going to bebop around so much that you're not going to show us? There we go. Oh, quick, quick, quick. Let everybody see. Puppy's eyes are all blue when they first open. They will not stay blue. All of these dogs will have eyes that are the same as Ravens, where they're virtually black, but what they really are is a dark, dark brown. Silver collar boy is 809 grams, so he's not very far behind red collar boy, and he's grown 237%. And last but not least, we have our little tiny squirt in the litter here, and that's our little orange collar girl. This is our little girl with those beautiful ripples on her coat. I just love the way she's got those waves showing up already. And oh no, Silver, now you're off on your own because mommy abandoned you. I'll put you over there with your gang. There we go. Little silver collar girl, or orange collar girl rather, is 618 grams. And you can see her nose is filling in as well. Her eyes are still sealed shut too. She's not ready to look at the world. She says, no, I heard all sorts of things and it's too scary for me. And she's grown 224% since she was born. She's just the tiniest little thing. She's very sweet, very petite little puppy. So that's all the kids, and that's our update for week 2 for these petite Australian Labradoodle puppies. If you have a moment, it really helps us out if you can write in our comments section below the video here. Ask any questions you may have, or even just let us know that you enjoyed the video, which we hope you enjoyed the video. Or if there's anything you would like to know more about that I haven't discussed, please just put that in the comments as well. And if you don't have time to leave a comment, a thumbs up is really great, and we do hope you're subscribed to our channel. And make sure you hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever we have a new video. And we'll be back next week. Everybody, I'm sure, will have their eyes open at our week 3 litter update, and we may even have some ears opening up. Probably not, but you never know. We might have that happening. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.